Shalom Mishpachim, welcome to His Narrow Bridge. Our time together today is meant to immerse ourselves in the Word of Yahweh. It is meant to be a personal time of connection to the Word for each of us. I will read each word as translated in English in an interlinear Hebrew Bible. These shows are pre-recorded, so I will be in chat when they air. Feel free to use the chat to post anything that comes to your mind as we read the word. We will begin with prayer, followed by time for each of us to say our own personal prayers. Our beloved friend Alan Horvath taught us, make Elohim number one on a list of one. We pray in the name of Elohim, which includes Yahweh, Yeshua, and the Ruach HaKodesh. Thank you, Elohim, for our lives and all you provide. We ask for a hedge of protection around our mishpacha as we pray and study. We love you dearly. We are your children. We come to you with questions as we seek our personal relationships with you. Please help us learn. If any darkness enters our time together, we ask you now to rebuke it. We will now listen to your word as we immerse ourselves in it and let it speak to us. Luke chapter 2. Now it happened in those days that a decree went out from Augustus Caesar that the names of all people in his dominion should be written down. This census first happened during the governorship of Quirinius in Syria, and everyone went in his own city to be registered. Now I'd like to point out the word registered. It comes from a root of regis or king or authority. So think about that when you register for something. Continuing with verse 4. And Yosef was also going up from Nazareth, a city of Galilee, into Yehuda, to the city of David, which is called Beit Lechem, the house of bread, because he was from the house and from the clan of David. When Maryam, his bride, while she was pregnant, that there they might be registered. And it happened that while they were there, her days of pregnancy were fulfilled, and she bore him a firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger, because there was no room where they could lodge. Verse 19, the Aramaic Oria means both a feeding trough for animals and a stable, as in Luke 13:15. The letters also spell Or Yah, light of Yah. And the root is Ari, the Hebrew word for lion, a very deep clue that the light of Yahweh and the lion of Yehuda are one and the same in the baby Yeshua who is laying with them. Genesis 33:17-20 through 20 indicates that Yaakov built feeding stalls, Sukkot, for his animals at a place called Sukkoth, the same word for Feast of Tabernacles, Sukkoth, that is happening at this time. So while the baby Yeshua is lying in one kind of sukkah, his parents are sheltering under another kind with him. Let's look at that, Genesis 33. Genesis 33, verse 17. And Jacob journeyed to Sukkot. So Sukkoth, it's a house that was built, and built himself a house, and for his livestock made booths. That's also Sukkot. Upon thus is called the name of the place Sukkoth. Continuing with verse 8. At this time, shepherds were there in that region where they were lodging and keeping watch there at night over their flocks. And behold, a messenger of Elohim came to them, and the glory of Master Yahweh shone upon them, and they feared with a great fear, Yareh. And the messenger said to them, do not have fear, for behold, I announce hope to you, a great joy, which will be to the whole world. For born to you all today is the Savior, that is Master Yahweh, the Mashiach, in the city of David. Footnote 20. One of the most powerful statements about Yahweh and his Mashiach in the entire Aramaic New Testament. Yahweh is the real Mashiach who chose the vessel of Yeshua the man. However, within Yeshua the man is an occurrence of the one divine nature of Yahweh, also known as the Ruach HaKodesh. This is the literal meaning of the fullness of Yahweh dwelling inside Mashiach, and in accordance with Tanakh prophecy, Isaiah 53:1, Zechariah 12:10. The divine and human natures exist separately, yet side by side within Yeshua. Please see Yahweh is Yeshua HaMashiach in appendix. Verse 12. And this is a sign to you. You will find an infant who is wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger. And at that instant, the great host of Shamayim appeared with the messenger, glorifying Elohim and saying, glory to Elohim in the highest, and on earth peace and good hope to the sons of men. The Elah. So the word for glory is Elah. Then it happened that when the messengers had departed from their presence to heaven, to Shamayim, the shepherds talked amongst each other and said, let us journey to Beit Lechem, and let us see this matter that has occurred as Master Yahweh has made known to us. And they hurriedly came, and they found Maryam and Yosef and the infant who was lying in a manger. After they had seen him, they made known the matter that had been spoke to them concerning the boy. All who heard marveled at those things that had been spoken to them by the shepherds. And Maryam kept all these words and pondered them in her heart. And those shepherds returned while glorifying and giving praise to Elohim concerning all they had seen and heard as it was told to them. Verse 21. Then when 8 days had passed so that the boy could be circumcised, they called his name Yeshua, as the messenger had called him before he was conceived in the womb. And when the days of their purification were fulfilled according to the instruction of Moshe, they took him up to Jerusalem to present him before Master Yahweh, according to what is written in the Torah of Master Yahweh, that every male who opens the womb will be called a set-apart one of Master Yahweh. So Exodus 13, dedication of the firstborn. And spoke Yahweh to Moshe, saying, consecrate to me all the firstborn opens whatever the womb among the sons of Yisrael, both of man and beast. Mine is mine it. Verse 24, and as a sacrifice, it is said in the Torah of Master Yahweh to give a pair of turtle doves or 2 chicks of pigeons. Leviticus 12:8. And if not to bring her hand is able a lamb, then she may bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, one as a burnt offering and one as a sin offering. So shall make atonement for her the priest, and she will be clean. So just a comment, we don't do sacrifices of animals today. and Yeshua removed the need for that. And the purpose of the sacrifice is purification. It's giving up what may have been food. I would also like to point out the word atonement, which is Kippur, Yom Kippur, and it could also read at one-ment, if you're at one with Yahweh. And these are the references to the word atonement or Kippur. A lot of Leviticus is about making atonement for purification. Verse 25, and now there was a certain man in Jerusalem, his name was Shimon, and this man was just and righteous and was waiting for the consolation of Israel. And the Ruach HaKodesh was upon him, and it had been said to him by the Ruach HaKodesh that he would not see death until he saw the Mashiach of Master Yahweh. He came by the Spirit, the Ruach, to the temple, and when his parents brought the boy Yeshua to do so on behalf as is commanded in Torah, he received him upon his arms and blessed Elohim and said, now dismiss your servant in peace, my master, according to your word. 23. Shimon's blessing is toward Yahweh. He is seeing his word being fulfilled as he had desired. He is now holding the promise in his arms. Shimon is not praying to the baby Yeshua here, but venerates Yahweh, who vouchsafes his promises. So there are important things we're learning, clearing up misconceptions. Verse 30, for behold, my eyes have seen your mercy, that which you have prepared before the face of all nations, a light for the revelation to the Gentiles and a glory to your people, Yisrael. 24 comes from Isaiah 42:6. Isaiah 42:6, I, Yahweh, have called you in righteousness and will hold your hand, and I will keep you and give you as a covenant to the people, as a light to the Gentiles, Hagoyim, nations. Verse 33, and Yosef and his mother were marveling at these things that were spoken concerning him. And Shimon blessed them and said to his mother Mariam, strophe 4, behold, this one is appointed for the fall and for the rise of many in Yisrael, and for a sign of dispute, and in your soul will pass through a spear, so that the thoughts of many hearts be revealed. So footnote 25, another 7-stiche strophe, which makes 4 sevens in a row, and all in the first 2 chapters. Jews and Aramaeans alike, past, present, and future, consider the number 7 as the embodiment of perfection, since Elohim chose to create the universe in 6 days and to rest on the 7th. Verse 36, then there was Cana, the prophetess, a daughter of Peniel from the tribe of Asher. She was also advanced in her days, and she was 7 years with her husband, whom she had lived with since her virginity. Footnote 26, a hidden message is revealed within the names decoded as, here Shimon of the mercy, Chana, before the face of El, Peniel, who is Asher Yeshua. Luke in particular enjoys employing this way of communication, as in chapter 1 with the blessing of Yochanan the Immerser's father. Such Hebraisms were lost when Hebrew names were Hellenized and the text translated into Greek. Beware of Greeks bearing gifts. Verse 37, and she was a widow for about 84 years, and she would not go out from the temple, but would with fasting and prayer serve day by day and by night. And she also stood up in that hour and gave thanks to Master Yahweh, and was speaking concerning him to everyone who was waiting for the salvation of Yerushalayim. And when they had completed everything, as was in the Torah of Master Yahweh, they returned to Galilee, to Nazareth, their city. And the boy would grow up and become strong in spirit, and was filled with wisdom, and the grace, the Aman of Elohim, was upon him. And every year, his people would go to Yerushalayim during the feast of the Pascha, the Pesach, Passover. Then, when he was 12 years old, they went up as they were accustomed to the feast. And after the days of the feast were completed, they returned. But the boy Yeshua remained in Yerushalayim, and Yosef and his mother did not know, for they were hoping that he was with the people in their company. And after they had gone on a one-day journey, they searched for him among their relatives and among anyone who knew them, and they did not find him. And they returned to Yerushalayim and were seeking him. And after 3 days, they found him in the temple while sitting in the midst of the teachers, and he was listening to them and questioning them. All those who were listening to him were amazed by his wisdom and by his answers. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said to him, "My son, why have you acted such towards us? For behold, I and your father were searching for you with much anxiety." He said to them, "Why were you searching for me? Did you not realize it is necessary to be in the house of my father?" But they did not understand the saying that he had told them. And he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was subject to them. And his mother kept all these words in her heart. And Yeshua would grow in his stature and in his wisdom and in favor with Elohim and man. So as you're setting up the beams for your sukkah, if you feel any resistance, it means that you're doing it the wrong way. So with a few trial and error, I had to figure out that this is the way it is supposed to be put together. So these beams come together at a notch, and then the vertical beam fills in the notch, and there should be no resistance when these square things go over the hooks. And then the Mahendran band hooks are on the outside. So the walls will be on the outside of the structure, so you'll be able to still put the bands through these hooks when you're inside the sukkah. So what you want to do is get like 2 beams up and then put the cross beam on the top. So when you put the cross beam on the top, you want to use the mallet to hammer in the cross beam into that square hole so that it is secure and that you have it standing securely on all sides. And then you repeat with the other beams. So be careful when you're on a step ladder doing this, and expect a few tries until you get it right. Okay, so once you have the frame up, it should be pretty secure and standing on its own. Just make sure that these things are in as much as you can. They'll be easy to get out, but just by tapping on the bottom, it'll pop right out when you need to disassemble it. So what I recommend you do is get everything that you're going to need inside the structure, because once you put the wall up, you can only get out one way. At this point is a good idea to secure your structure to a permanent deck, a permanent structure using bungee cords. So very simple, just put it around, snap it in and move it to the outside. Okay, so now it is secured to one of the posts on the deck. Do that on all four sides. Okay, if you like Velcro, you're gonna have a lot of fun with this. The roof is secured to the metal with the Velcro, and you start with this post, just securing the leftmost edge. Then you have the door, and then make sure, I brought the poles inside here because that's going to be for the roof, so that I have it, and then you just keep draping the walls around your sukkah. So when you wrap it all the way around and you come back to your starting point, there's Velcro on the left of this panel to secure it to the back of this panel, and little strips to further secure it. Okay, so Velcro is very strong, and then you have all the fun of the Velcro on the bottom. And those go underneath and around. So get all your Velcro secured, and you're already starting to appreciate the blessing of this shelter. It's a temporary shelter, but imagine yourself in the desert, and today it's a pretty hot day with the sun out, and you could feel Yahweh protecting you from the hot sun already as you're building this. And then when the roof goes up, you'll feel it again, and then you'll have many blessings inside it as you celebrate Sukkot. Another wonderful meltah is that you can learn how simply doors and windows were made on structures like this, just by tying little threads together with pegs. Okay, so after you completed all your Velcro fastening, you want to put the bamboo or whatever you're using to support the roof on top of the structure in an equidistant pattern, but you're going to need to get the roof through it. So you'll need to move one of them aside to make room for that, and then lay it flat and then roll it out. Now, Yahweh gave us this moed as a gift for ourselves to appreciate the simplicity of life and to go back and think about the Exodus from Egypt and living in the desert and receiving the Torah. And look at this little gift he gave. The moon can be seen during the day from the sukkah. Okay, so now you can see how you start rolling out the roof. So it is an open roof that you're not isolated from the heavens. You have little cracks opening up for the divine to enter. So you continue rolling out the roof. And then what you want to do to make sure it doesn't blow away is to put wood blocks on top of it on each end to secure it, to make sure that wind won't blow it up and take it away. Okay, our roof is up and it's beautiful, and you can see the sun peeking through the roof. The next step is to put the Mahendran bands on. So they secure and they fit into these slots in the posts. So it's just a little clasp, and then you bring it around and secure it in each post. And then you open up the windows and look out upon Yahweh's beautiful world. And here's a window that also lets in air. An important aspect of Sukkot is to make it personally meaningful for you. For me, these are little peas that I grew this summer. And for me, what that meant is I had to prove to myself that I am capable of growing plants in containers on my deck. So this means a lot to me, to have these little peas that I can harvest. And another thing, There are many rules that you could learn about Sukkot and the traditional plants that you bring into the sukkah, like the myrtle and the willow. You can search for that all online, but use your discernment to figure out what works for you. Just something personal to me. This is a box, and those Hebrew letters are etrog, and that is the traditional fruit that is used in the sukkah. It looks like a lemon, but it's grown in Israel, and then this little box is used to hold the etrog. It has a little clasp, so you can see it's a big fruit, so you need a big box to hold it. And look at the design of this woodwork. And this box has special meaning to me because it was made by a friend who passed away from cancer, and he did this loving woodwork. He made many wooden products, and his wife sold them after he passed away, and that's when I got this. So make your holiday personally meaningful to you. When your sukkah is complete, you want to give thanks to Yahweh, Yeshua, and the Ruach HaKodesh for their blessings and the gifts that they have given you at this season, for everything that they provide. This sukkah is a provision. And make a personal communion. This is unleavened bread, or matzah, and it represents the body of HaMashiach as we remember his sacrifice. If you want to have wine, I recommend a wine not made with grapes, like blackberry wine. The Nazarenes did not drink products made from grapes, so it's in commemoration of the Nazarenes with whom Yeshua was associated. So let this teaching be written upon your heart so that you discern the best way for you to thank Yahweh and Yeshua and the Ruach HaKodesh for the gifts that they give you every day. And I also see it as a gift that after all the soul searching of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and we've made it through that cycle and we're ready, we've repented and we're turning in new directions and new years. May it be for a blessing for all of us, especially in this year with the challenges we have faced. The fact that we can enjoy this freedom that Yahweh gives us every year on Shabbat and special Moedim. This is the last Moedim until Passover, Pesach, which will be in the spring. Okay. Keep your wicks trimmed, your lamps lit, and Yahweh willing, we'll be together. For more information about these videos, look at the video description and click more. You can then have links to my YouTube channel and the YouTube playlist, which has all the Aramaic English New Testament videos, Bible Hub links, and Odiote. So this is useful because you can click a chapter and go word by word through the scriptures and get details about each word and where they are used throughout the Bible.